Good afternoon, students. Welcome back to our review lecture of chapter number 1. In this lecture, we are going to review our chapter number 1, that is Engineering Metrology, Introduction to Engineering Metrology. So, the first point is, what is metrology? As we know that this is the word which is derived from a Greek word metro and logy. Metro means measurement, logy means science or logic. The metrology is the science of precision measurement. So, how we can define the metrology? It is a science of precision measurement. It also deals with the establishment, reproduction, conservation, then transfer of units of measurement and their standards. What it contains: the establishment, reproduction, conservation, transfer of units of measurement and their standards. Metrology basically consisting of different study of different measuring instruments for defining precision, accuracy, then sources of errors in the measurement, then methods to eliminate that errors, to improve the accuracy. So during the entire process of transformation of raw material product, that means we are manufacturing our products from raw materials, from that stage to the final product stage, the metrology plays a very important role at various stages. Of manufacturing. So, and that operations can be performed by the various measuring instruments and gauges. Okay. So the next definition, that is measurement. Measurement is the process of numerical evaluation of dimension, or the process of comparison with standard measuring instrument, So if suppose we want to measure the length between the 2 points, in that case, after measurement we are getting some numerical value. Suppose 1 meter, 2 meter. That numerical value or that numerical evaluation of that particular quantity is known as a measurement. Or the second is, in the second case, we can compare that particular measurement with the standard. So let us take example. If suppose we want to measure the distance between the 2 points, we are using a scale. That means we are comparing whatever the measurement to be taken, that is compared with the standard measuring instrument. In that case, the scale, meter scale, that is the standard measuring instrument, because whatever the scale that is imprinted on that scale, and we are comparing whatever the quantity to be measured with that scale. Okay, so that process is known as the measurement. Then objectives or necessity of the metrology. Okay, so these are some objectives of metrology or the need of metrology. The first is the proper selection of measuring methods and instruments. By using the knowledge of metrology, what we can do, proper selection of measuring instrument. We can select the proper measuring instruments, proper measuring methods, which methods we have to use for the particular measurement, that can be selected with the knowledge of metrology. Then to select the proper measuring standards, There are two to three standards: line standard, end standard, and wavelength standard. In that case, if suppose we have to measure a distance between two surfaces, two parallel surfaces, and we have to measure a distance between two lines, or 2 points. In that case, we have to use different measuring standards, so that selection is also from the knowledge of engineering metrology. Then find out the sources of errors. This is very important point. Where the error is actually occurring, that errors can be found out with the knowledge of engineering metrology. Then useful in the selection of proper measuring instruments and gauges. Proper measuring instruments we can select, gauges we can select with the knowledge of engineering metrology. To have a good accuracy and precision, for better accuracy and precision, we must have the knowledge of metrology. Then to reduce the cost of inspection by effective and efficient use of available facilities. To reduce the cost, this is very important point. Then evaluate a newly developed product. Okay, evaluate means to measure the dimensions. It's examine. To evaluate means to examine the newly developed product, to measure its dimensions, whether that are within the limit or not. Then enhance consumer satisfaction. Then reduce rework and rejection, because if developed product which has some errors, in that case there must be need of rework and rejection, so that also reduced, that rework and rejection also reduced with the knowledge of metrology. Then it helps in achieving the interchangeability of parts. Okay, these are some objectives and necessity of engineering metrology. Then types of metrology, we have seen three types. First is the scientific metrology, second is industrial metrology, third is the legal metrology. Okay, so scientific metrology, it deals with the establishment and development of measurement standards along with their maintenance. It deals with the establishment and development of measurement standard. Then industrial metrology, it deals with the proper functioning and measuring of measuring instruments used in a industry as well as in a production and testing process. Okay, so it deals with the proper functioning of measuring instruments, whatever the measuring instruments that are used in industry as well as in a production as well as in a testing. It ensures the proper functioning of that instruments. So this type of metrology, that is known as the industrial metrology. Then the legal metrology, that is the third type. It deals with the mandatory and legal bindings specified for the units of measurement, method of measurement, measuring instrument, which are likely to be followed during the act of measurement. During the measurement, the measuring instruments has to follow some bindings, some rules that measuring instruments has to follow. What are those? The measuring methods of measurement, then measuring instruments, which measuring instruments we are using. Then such a type of rules are for the measurement, that all comes under the legal metrology. Okay, this is the next point, that is inspection. Inspection is the act of checking all the quality characteristics of a given job or a specimen. Inspection is the act of checking all the quality characteristics of the given job or specimen. In that case, we are actually comparing the materials, products or the components with some established standards. We are comparing whatever the manufactured product, developed product, that with the established standards. Then the third definition of inspection is that inspection is the step to check how many manufactured components can be accepted for further operation or sales to the market by confirming the actual dimensions of the component with the design specifications. Okay, so inspection decides whether to accept or whether to reject that particular component, those components which are not confirming the design specifications, which can be rejected. If the manufactured component not satisfying the design specifications are called as rejected components. Thus, the inspection involves comparing materials, products, components with the established standards. Thus, the inspection involves comparing materials, products, or components with the established standards. Now, the need or requirement of inspection. The first is the quality output of the product. When we are manufacturing the products, components, through the various stages of manufacturing process, so as to provide the output product with a greatest quality, it is always necessary to inspect the job or product at every stage of manufacturing. So this is very important to check the quality of output product at every stage of manufacturing. Okay, so that with the inspection, the quality output products that we are getting. Then technological change due to the technological change, because of the advanced technology, modern instruments, there is the need of accuracy as well as accuracy inspection. As there are a lot of modern instruments are available, so that by using that instruments we can do our inspection. We are check the quality of the products. Then the third need or the requirement of inspection, that is mass production, because due to the increased demand of products worldwide, it is always required to have a mass production. So while mass production, it is always required to have a maximum accuracy with the product. Hence, for the mass production, sampling inspection is required. Which inspection is required? Sampling inspection is required. So that for the mass production also there is the need of inspection. Then the fourth point, that is to minimize the cost of product by less wastage. As we know that due to the implementation of inspection or the quality control, there is a lesser wastage or less amount of products, components which are rejected, and maximum amount of products, components which are accepted, so that there is no need of rework. So that the cost of production is less. To minimize the cost of production is, the inspection is required. Then to achieve the interchangeability. Whenever interchanging or replacing the components, any components of a machine or any assembly, at that time, to maintain the proper tolerances, it is always required the proper inspection methods and techniques. For interchangeability, as we know that there is the requirement of tolerances, so that to maintain proper tolerances, the inspection methods and techniques are required. Then to develop reputation and brand name in the market. If the manufactured products are with good quality or best quality accuracy, then it can develop a reputation and brand name for that particular industry in the market. It can be possible only because of proper methods of manufacturing and tools of inspection. So that is why the inspection is very important. Okay. Let us see the next concept, that is accuracy. As we know that we have taken accuracy is the closeness of measured value to the actual or true value. Accuracy is the closeness of measured value. Whatever the quantity we are measuring, that is the measured value. And actual means the actual dimension of that component or that product. True value means a specified value of component before the start of production. Okay, this is very important, true value. Then the measured value is the reading obtained after the inspection. That means after the measurement, whatever the reading that we are getting, that is known as the measured value. And true value is the specified value for a particular component before the production, or it is the dimension which is given on a particular drawing, that is before the production of that component. Therefore, accuracy is the closeness of measured value to the true value of that component. Closeness of measured value to the true value of that product. Then the second is precision. Precision is the repeatability of measuring instrument, repeatability of measuring process or instruments. Okay, that means it is a degree with which the instrument gives repeated readings, repeated measurements. It is a degree to which instrument give the repeated measurements. Okay, so precision is defined as, precision shows that how close the measured values are with each other. Precision shows how close the measured values with each other, as well as it is also the repeatability of measuring process. For example, if the number of measurements are carried out for a single quantity in identical conditions, okay, so if number of measurements are carried out for a single quantity, that means if we are supposed to measure 10 millimeter, in that case that measurement is carried out in identical conditions, that is by the same observer with the same instrument within a short interval of time, then all the readings which are close to each other, as well as the mean value of all the readings, that means mean average value of all the readings, then that all the readings are said to be precise. Then all the readings must be said to precise. Okay, for that we will see this diagram. Okay, what is shown in that diagram? The red circle at middle or at a center, that is our target. That means that is the true value. Then whatever the points or the markings that are shown on a diagram, that are the measured values. In the first diagram, the measured values are away from the center, that means away from the true value. The measured values are away from the true value in this case, in this diagram. So that means this measurement has a very low accuracy. That measurement taken on an instrument that has a low accuracy, because there is the difference between the measured value and true value. Okay, So this diagram shows low accuracy, but whatever the measurements that we have taken here, which are very close to each other, that means that all the readings which are within the precision, that readings are in precision. Okay, so that the first diagram has a low accuracy and high precision. Then in second diagram, whatever the measurements taken that are away from each other, whatever the measurements that are taken away from each other and close to the measured value, that means red circle. Measurement taken that are close to the red circle. So that in second diagram, the measurement has high accuracy but low precision, because whatever the measurements taken that are away from each other. Then in third diagram, we can see the measurements taken that are close to each other as well as close to the measured value, so that it has a high accuracy, high precision. Okay. So let us see the difference, very important, accuracy, precision. Accuracy is the closeness of measured value to the actual or true measured value. Okay. Then precision, as we know that repeatability of measuring process, measuring instruments. Accuracy is concerned with only true value. Precision is concerned with mean value, average value of all the measurements taken. As well as the precision has no concern with the true value. Let us take example. If the true value is 10 millimeter, then 9.99 millimeter is more accurate than 9.91. If true value is 10 millimeter and readings are obtained 10.001, some 10.002, 10.003, 10.004, 10.005, then mean value of all the readings, that means 10.003 millimeter. Therefore, the measurements taken are very close to 10.003, because that is the average value or mean value. So that all the readings which are very precise. Then it is difficult and expensive to have a good accuracy. It is much easier and cheaper to achieve the precision than to achieve the great accuracy. High accuracy cannot be obtained with low precision. That is correct. Then high precision can be obtained with low accuracy. Okay. That means precision doesn't depend upon the accuracy, but accuracy depends upon the precision. Then these are some terms: sensitivity, readability, repeatability, reproducibility. The first is sensitivity. It shows how sensitive is the instrument. That means it is the ability of measuring device to detect a small variation. A very small variation in the quantity being measured. Higher the ability of such detection of an instrument, more sensitive is the instrument. Okay, then readability. Readability means the ability of measuring instrument or a device to have indications converted into a meaningful numbers. Okay, suppose if you are measuring the pressure with the pressure gauge, in that case, whatever the pressure that is shown on a graduated scale, and by using that scale and pointer, that instrument can show us directly the reading of pressure. That means that is the readability, or some digital instrument that directly shows the reading. So that this is the readability property. That means it is the ability of measuring instrument to have a the whatever the measurements that are converted into the meaningful numbers. Then repeatability is the ability of measuring instruments to repeat the output readings consistently. Then reproducibility. Then repeatability and reproducibility both are similar terms, but the difference is that in the case of repeatability, we are using the same observer, same instrument, same environmental conditions for a short interval of time. What repeatability contains, we are using the same instrument, same observer, same environmental conditions within a short interval of time. So then that instrument will show the same readings or repeated readings. That property is known as the repeatability. Okay. Then what is the reproducibility? In the reproducibility, we are changing the observer, we are changing the instrument, we are changing the environmental condition, though that instrument will show us the close repeated readings, very close repeated readings. That property of the measuring instruments, that is known as the reproducibility. Okay, next is the calibration. Calibration is the process of checking of scale or readout of an instrument by using standards. Calibration is the process of checking scale or readout or whatever the scale that instrument has or whatever the readout that instrument is giving. We have to check that readout with the standards. Calibration includes marking, adjusting, checking, so that reading obtained will conform to the standards. So that is why the calibration is the process of determining and adjusting an instrument's accuracy to make sure its accuracy is within the manufacturer's specifications. So that is why the calibration is the process of determining and adjusting the accuracy to make sure its accuracy is within the manufacturer's specification. So then there is the need of calibration. The first is to maintain the accuracy of the measuring instruments, to find out the errors, producing properties, to account the environmental errors, quality control and quality assurance in the production, to promote the international recognition. Then traceability. Traceability is the transfer of international standards, higher grade standards to the national standards, then national standards to the working standards of all the industries located in the country. That means it is the transfer of international standards to the national standards. Then transfer of national standards to the working standards or whatever the standards that are used in the located industries in the country. Then it is also, secondly, it can be defined the property to trace working standards from national standards and to trace national standards from the international standards. There is a sequence from international standards to the national standards and national to working standards. Then thirdly, we can define the traceability. It is the property of establishing a valid calibration of measuring instruments by step-by-step comparison with the specific standard, that is national standards, linking to the international standards to maintain the accuracy. That is why it is the process of establishing a valid calibration of measuring instruments by step-by-step comparison with the specific standards. That is, national standards is likely to be compared with the international standards. Due to the traceability, valid calibration of measuring instruments can be established as per the specific standards. Then what is interchangeability? It is the ability of part of assembly to interchange at the time of assembly or replacement. It is the ability of part of assembly to interchange at the time of assembly or replacement. Examples: machine shaft replacement, electric bulb replacement, spark plug replacement, because whatever the dimensions whatever be the dimensions of shaft, if you are purchasing the shaft of that particular dimensions, then that shaft fit exactly into that assembly. Or let us take the example of bulb. We are purchasing a bulb from market. Besides this, every bulb can fit into the holder. Then this is for similar for the spark plug also. We are purchasing that spark plug, or we are using spark plug of different manufactured by different industries. Besides this, that spark plug fit into the hole of that engine. Then advantages of interchangeability, chances of easier replacement, so that due to the interchangeability property we can easily replace the parts. There is no any problem with the replacement. Then the mass production of changeable parts. Mass production of changeable parts also can be done. Then a less cost of manufacturing. Due to the mass production, there is a less cost of manufacturing. Simple for maintenance. Then lower assembly and replacement cost. Then standardization of machine parts and manufacturing methods. Then amplification, it is the process of magnification of input signal amplitude. Then magnification, process of increasing magnitude of output. Amplification, it is the process of magnification of input signal amplitude. Then what is magnification? Process of increasing magnitude of output by multiple times to the original, so as to make it readable. Then methods of magnification: mechanical, optical, pneumatic. Okay, these are some errors and sources of errors. As we know that error is the difference between the measured value and true value. Then errors may arise due to the characteristic of measuring instruments, or the process used for the measurement, or the environmental conditions. So that error has two types: controllable or systematic errors, random errors. Then calibration errors, ambient or environmental errors, stillness pressure error, avoidable errors. These are some types of controllable or systematic errors. Okay, so controllable or systematic errors. Controllable errors both are controllable both in magnitude as well as direction. Controllable errors both are controllable both in magnitude as well as direction. Okay, let us see first calibration error. That is caused due to the variation in the calibrated scale and the nominal scale. If the calibrated scale, or whatever the scale that is on instrument, it will show the variation from the nominal value, then there is the calibration error. Okay, such type of error are known as calibration error. Then ambient or environmental errors. If there is the change in temperature, pressure, humidity, whatever the properties, in that case also there is the production of error that is known as the environmental error or ambient error. As we know that, because if the temperature of the measuring environment has increased more than 20 degrees Celsius, in that case there is the expansion of measuring instruments. So that is why there is the production of error which is known as the environmental error. Then the stillness or contact pressure. Here in this diagram we can see the contact pressure error or stillness error. Due to the stillness pressure on a workpiece, there is the combined deformation of stillness as well as the workpiece. So that deformation will produce a error that is known as a contact pressure error. Then parallax error. If the observer is observing the readings at a particular angle, okay, the reading must be required to be take normal to the scale. But if due to some reasons the observer is taking that reading at a particular some angle, then there is the production of error which is known as a parallax error. In that case the observer is here and which is observing, instead of observing from this point, the observer is observing from this point. Okay, so that is why there is the production of a small error E that is shown here. Okay, effect of supports. If the support, whatever the support shown here, if that is not completely flat, it has a curvature. In that case, whatever the dimensions S, that comes 0.5444 L, that is taken for the example. That means S never be equal to 0.5444 L. Okay. Let us see the difference systematic errors and random errors. Systematic errors are avoidable errors, random errors are unavoidable errors. Systematic errors are consistent and repetitive in nature and are of similar forms. Random errors which are non-consistent and accidental in nature. We don't predict that random errors that can occur at any time. Then second point, in systematic error, they occur due to improper condition of method of measurement. Then they are inherent in the measuring system. That means they are already existing. Random errors are existing in a measuring system. Except human errors, all the systematic errors can be controlled. Okay, all the systematic errors can be removed, controlled from the by proper removal of errors. Then random errors, in the random errors, the random errors cannot be removed from the measurement. Then in case of systematic errors, these errors can be identified and reduced if the attempts are made, analyzed. It is similar to previous point, these errors cannot be eliminated. Then they include the calibration errors, errors due to variation in the environmental conditions, variation in contact pressure, parallax error. They include errors caused due to small variation in the position of standard of work peaks. That means if there is small displacement between the position of standard and workpiece, then slight displacement of levers, joints of the measuring instruments, then vibrations, transient fluctuations, frictions, etc. Due to that, there is the error which is known as the random error. Then statistical methods do not operate on systematic errors. Statistical methods, we cannot operate for the calculation of the systematic errors. Statistical methods only operate the random errors. Okay, these are some factors to be considered while selecting the suitable measuring instruments, or these are the factors which are important for the higher accuracy. The first is quantity to be measured. What we have to measure? Length, height, angle, etc. Then range of measuring instrument. What is the range? From 0 to 100, 0 to 200, 0 to 500. Then precise measurement, more accuracy. Then sensibility and readability of measuring instruments, that is also very important while selection of measuring instrument. Then computability of instruments, easy to operate, low cost, easy for maintenance, then simple in design, constructional details. Characteristics, some characteristic of measuring instruments giving precise or precise measurements. The first is higher degree of sensitivity. If the instrument can respond more quickly, in that case also there is a high degree of sensitivity, high degree of accuracy, then good amplification, then proper calibration, minimum inertia, less wear. These are some precautions. Then the list count method. The list count, it is the known as ratio of value of smallest division on main scale to the number of divisions on vernier scale. Okay, in that basically there is a number of smallest division on main scale, that is equal to 1 millimeter. Smallest division on main scale, that is equal to 1 millimeter divided by the number of divisions on vernier scale. This is on main scale, smallest division, that is 1 millimeter divided by number of divisions on vernier scale, that is 50 for a normal type of vernier. So that we will get a list count of 0.02. Okay. This is also the second method. In this method, one small division on main scale, what we are taking, one small division on main scale, that is as like a previous method, small division on main scale, that is equal to 1 millimeter. Then number of divisions on vernier scale, that is 50. Okay, but what the measurement shows, the measurement shows that the 49 divisions on main scale, that is 49 division on main scale, that are equal to 50 divisions on vernier scale, 50 divisions on vernier scale. Okay, so that is why 49 divided by 50 is equal to the difference. Okay, that is equal to the difference between the main scale and one vernier scale. So that is why 1 minus 49 divided by 50, that is the difference. This is the difference. So that 1 minus 49 divided by 50, so that we will get 1 divided by 50, so that is also comes 0.02, that is also comes 0.02. Okay. What we have taken here, smallest division on main scale 1 minus, we have to find out the difference between both the scales. What is the difference? The difference is 49 divisions on main scale, 49 divisions on main scale, that are equal to 50 divisions on vernier scale. So that is why that is the difference. So that if that difference is subtracted from smallest division on main scale, we will get the list count. Okay, by using this also we will get the list count 0.02. Okay, so these are the some assignment questions which are already we have discussed. Only the last question that is pending. This is the micrometer, this device is the micrometer. Okay, so what are the components? These are the spindle faces here. Okay, spindle, this is the spindle. Okay, this is the lock nut, here the lock nut. Okay, this is the sleeve, then this is the frame. Okay, then this is the thimble, this is a ratchet. Okay, so these are some components of the micrometer. Okay, so here the scale is also given, that means we can measure from 0 to 25 millimeter, and the list count is 0.01 millimeter. 0.01 millimeter is the list count of this micrometer. Okay, so let us see the construction. The micrometer consists of U-shaped frame. This is the U-shaped frame. Okay, this is the U-shaped frame, and the components are being measured, which are held, which are component we have to measure, that is held between these two faces. The spindle can be moved with the help of thimble. There are two scales on micrometer. One is the main scale. This is the main scale, and then the second one. This is the main scale. This is the main scale. This is the micrometer scale. Circular scale. The barrel is graduated in a unit of 0.5 millimeter, whereas a thimble, when the thimble get 50 divisions, then the micrometer will move by a 0.5. Micrometer will advance, or the lock nut advance for 0.5 millimeter, or the lead screw will move for the 0.5 millimeter. Okay, that means for one complete revolution, the thimble move for the, or the screw nut which will move for the lead screw, which will move for the 0.5 millimeter. Let us see this example. 10 divisions on a vernier scale coincide with the 9 divisions, smallest division on a main scale. The main scale reading is 2.6 and vernier scale coincides with the 7 division on main scale. Calculate the least count. So first calculate the least count. What is given in a problem? Given that there are 10 divisions on vernier scale, which coincides with the 9 smallest division on main scale, millimeter. Okay, that means there must be a 10 divisions on vernier scale, 10 divisions on vernier scale, and 9, which matches 9 divisions on main scale, 9 smallest division on main scale. Okay, so that the least count is calculated as like, least count is equal to smallest division on main scale 1 millimeter minus 9 by 10. 9 by 10 is the difference, as we have seen earlier. So that is why if we do like this, then we will get the least count, that is 0.01 millimeter. That means smallest division on main scale minus the difference on both the scales. Then observed reading is equal to main scale reading plus vernier scale reading. Okay, the observed reading is, the main scale reading is 2.6 plus 7 divisions on main scale, 7 here, into the least count. This is the formula. Okay, that is why the observed reading is 2.6 plus 7 into 0.01 is the least count, so that it will show 2.67. This is asked for the summer 19. This is also the another problem. Draw the diagram indicating the reading of 4.32 on a vernier scale. Suppose consider this vernier caliper has a least count of 0.02. This is the least count for the vernier. Okay, 0.02. This is the least count of this vernier caliper. So that whenever such type of problem is asked, then use the formula of total reading is equal to main scale reading plus vernier scale reading. Directly use the formula. Then 4.32. This is the total reading. Okay, that is given here, 4.32. Okay, then main scale reading, then try to find out a close value of value related to the measured value. Okay, so that is we will get a 4, that is we will get the 4. We cannot take here a 3 also, as well as we cannot take 5 also, so that which value is very close to the 4.32, that is 4, that is 4, value close to the 4.32, that is 4, that is the main scale reading, our main scale reading. Okay, so if we are using a list count, that is 0.02, 0.02, so that is why we will get the VSR reading is equal to 16 divisions. 16th line on vernier scale, that means it will show 16th line on vernier scale must coincide with the straight on main scale. What does it shows? 16th line on vernier scale must coincide with the straight line on main scale. Okay, that means 16th line coincide with the main scale. Okay, that is why we can show here first is the 4 millimeter MSR, this is the MSR, we can show 4 millimeter, then this is the 16th line, we have to show matching with the main scale, matching with the vernier scale. 16th line of main scale matching with the vernier scale, and here we are showing whatever the 0, that is after the 4, that is after the 4. Okay, here is the 4 millimeter, the 0 that is matching with the 4, and here the 16th line, which is we have to show, that is exactly straight line matching with the 16th line on vernier scale. Okay, so this is about the total review of the chapter number 1. So I request to all the students, you must solve this assignment number 1. Okay, thank you.